Hello, everyone. I all hope you're doing well and okay today. Just to be very quietly short and just be very quietly very much quietly short. Today we'll be talking about the Shadow Empire, warlords, and the power vacuum that has consumed the Shadow Empire over for the past months and for the past years since the death of the Lord of Magic in this episode exactly, and it has several factions. As you can see, the day is quietly going well. It's very cloudy today, and I hope you all are quietly safe and doing well and very staying safe and staying happy and positive and everything else you're doing. It's just me and Universe. Universe was just at the door just now, trying to get into the house, but it's still going on even now. But anyway, well, today we're to talk about the Shadow Empire that's in chaos, so let's get to it. The Shadow Empire was quietly a powerful empire within the entire sacred universe and within the known universe. Since the death of the Lord of Magic, the Shadow Empire has splintered into several factions. Sinister Shadow Empire warlords are fighting for control, are fighting for sole control over the other worlds and over the other planets and over the other star systems and over the other solar systems of the sacred universe and all of the other worlds. These are the several factions since the death of the Lord of Magic has really begun and really started creating a power vacuum within the Shadow Empire thanks to the work of the Universal Heroes and all the other heroes. The first faction is the Seventh Fleet, which is led by a shadow bounty hunter known as Zendak. Then the second fleet is the Ninth Fleet, which is led by Warlord Just, the most formidable warlord in the entire Shadow Empire. Then the other fleet is the Shadow Brothers, who are the most formidable foes and the most strongest formidable adversaries across the known universe throughout the Universal Heroes and the United Heroes and also the Intergalactic Coalition. They've been exactly been heard of their great powers and their great abilities, makes them more dangerous and makes them more powerful and makes them more sinister. Then the last faction is Lord Justin's faction. Lord Justin's faction is known as the Ninth Fleet. The Ninth Fleet is a fleet of battle cruisers who exactly govern within Lord Justin's central command, governing within his Lord Justin's sacred command, who's a former member of the Universal Heroes. He was consumed by shadow energy, managed to corrupt him, and managed to make him the most deadly villain and the most powerful, formidable villain that the Universal Heroes are even facing. These factions have quietly sought out to seize control of areas of the known universe and throughout the sacred universe, thanks to the death of the Lord of Magic, which the universal heroes have caused, creating chaos and more dispense and weakening the empire through its fight through its strongest formidable foes. Each of these several factions have quietly set out to seize the throne of the Shadow Empire and also to ascend to the throne of the Shadow Empire. But in doing so, they managed to fight against themselves. They will call upon on a sacred call in order to decide who will become the next Lord of Magic. The Shadow Empire warlords all decided up to meet up. The most powerful ranking Shadow Empire warlords decided up to meet up, and which they quietly did. By doing so, they were quietly able to meet up together. The next member who will exactly ascend to the throne, which was called by the sacred fate leader of the Shadow Empire, put up the statues of the Lord of Magic in order to show that they quietly respect him and they quietly still remember him by. Even in death, his legacy will continue to live on forwardly. Despite this, the Shadow Empire warlords started fighting amongst each other, creating turmoil and bloodshed, and all of that creating more chaos and turmoil within the Shadow Empire, weakening its resultants and weakening fights and wars started to consume the empire from within its own borders, forcing each faction to pledge its own loyalty, seizing areas of supporters throughout the known universe in order to ascend to the throne by force by any means necessary. Zandak Zendik's faction, known as the Seventh Fleet, was the most formidable faction within the Shadow Empire because since he's a shadow bounty hunter and he's quietly the most formidable enemy that the Universal Heroes have faced. He exactly tried to seize the throne, quietly failed thanks to the other warlords, thanks to the other Shadow Empire warlords who quietly intervened and who quietly exactly tried to stop him from seizing the throne. But none of them were able to seize the throne thanks to the intervention of the coalition, which exactly stopped the war between the two Shadow Empire warlords. With the Shadow Empire quietly still in chaos and still in turmoil, and all its factions are still splintered and led by different warlords and leaders and commanders and all other commanders exactly. The Shadow Empire may be weakened. All the other all the other rest of the Shadow Empire warlords started forming alliance to other sinister societies of supervillains, such as the Founders, the Order of the Five, the Order of the Six, the Order of the Seven, the Order of the Seven, the Dark Order, and also the Golden Masters, and also the Golden Masters, and also the other societies of supervillains as well. By doing so, they provide their resources. The other Shadow Empire warlords gave the Order of the Five endless worldly technologies and worldly improvisation. In doing so, the Order of the Five provided their services to the Shadow Empire warlords. In exchange, they gave them an army of superhumans, an army of assassins at their disposal to start wiping out the universal heroes by coordinating attacks. They even convene on a planet that is inhabited by a volcano, a dormant volcano, in order for them to exactly meet with the Order of the Five spaces, with all of the Five's individual bases, which are able to exactly meet and discuss their plans and the operations with the rest of the sinister societies in order to take down the intergalactic coalition and universal heroes. The first faction that started the assault against the other intergalactic coalition was a faction known as the Ninth Fleet, led by Warlord Just, who is also a cousin of Warlord Justin, who is exactly a distant relative of Warlord Justin, who is a former member of the Universal Heroes, as I previously said. As I was saying, he began the assault on the Intergalactic Coalition's planet in order to seize the throne, which miraculously failed due to the intervention of the world heroes and the other heroes who managed to exactly put it down. But Six, who is a sinister villain and a founder and leader of the Order of the Six, another sinister society of villains that wants to conquer the Earth, uses as leverage in order to take advantage of the Shadow Empire's power vacuum and gains in seizing errors of supporters across the known universe and across the sacred universe in order to assist and also to support him by any means necessary, which he quietly did exactly. He landed an random battle cruiser across worlds of snow and across worlds of ice in order to start attacking. The intervention of the other heroes known as the World Heroes and the Universal Heroes and United Heroes working together as a team prevented the random battlecruiser from attacking the random worlds and the other planets, which was a quietly diversion in order to divert the Universal Hero's attention in order to assist his associates and all the other associate villains in order to create their own sinister chaos. Nebula Bringer and Jack Bringer assisted the Shadow Empire warlords and convened with the other Shadow Empire warlords and other commanders in order to exactly assist them, in order to provide them knowledge and all the technology they needed, and all the worldly technologies and all the black box and all the other sinister technologies that could ever exactly be provided to their assistance and to their services. The Shadow Empire warlords use these technologies to wreak havoc across the other worlds and across the other planets, creating turmoil and more chaos than ever, wreaking havoc on a navigated scale, and by doing so managed to get the attention of another powerful villain known as Dark Master, who rules his empire with an iron fist with his supporters. Lord Ozuko. Ozuko is a servant and a dark druid of Dark Master's he's a high-ranking member official, and he decided to assist the Shadow Empire warlords in helping his master seize control of the known universe and also the other sacred worlds and the other planets, which the plan failed due to the intervention of Organic Man, Animal Boy, Werewolf Girl, Lightning Boy, Sacred Boy, and also the other world hero and the other world heroes members who saved the planets in the other in the other worlds from any attack which could have exactly ended badly. But due to the intervention, they saved lives and any other lives and all the other lives, but no lives was ever lost or any battle was ever lost. In doing so, the Shadow Empire warlords formed an alliance with the Dark Druids and with the Dark Witches and with the Dark Faithful in order to exactly use a crystal technology to crystallize the planet and also to destroy it by any means necessary, which you could have exactly succeeded. if it quietly didn't exactly and easily succeeded due to the intervention of Magic Girl and also the magic heroes who quietly used their magical ability to stop the crystallization of the magical crystallization from destroying the entire civilization of aliens, and also was quietly thwarted by the operation. Despite this, it was heavily quietly thwarted operation, and was a very thwarted operation indeed. They were able to exactly reconstitute, were able to exactly convene with the founders in a video conference and inform the Dark King and the other members of the founders to let them know that the attack has been a failure. The Dark King didn't take it lightly, as he knew that the world heroes and the other heroes would exactly intervene. He told his associates and his members to start beginning with the experimentation of the dark crystal and all its energy aspect in order to turn it into a crystal controlling chips that can easily enslave whoever they gain in contact to do as they command, and to also act within the command of their masters, which they exactly did. The United Heroes was quietly monitoring every Shadow Empire warlord's communication devices and all their feedbacks and all their movements and any other with their intergalactic coalition in order to find out exactly what they are up to. The Noten Knights who work on the behalf of the Order of the Six started to exactly be creating a sinister device using dark entities to destroy worlds and to destroy planets. They gave the Shadow Empire warlords more technology. The Shadow Empire warlords provided them with endless technologies and worldly possession, even with the black box, even with the red box that they were able to use it to teleport and also to create teleportation beams and teleportation devices that could destroy worlds and other civilizations, which quietly failed miraculously due to the intervention of the Universal Heroes and the other heroes. The battle against the Intergalactic Coalition and the Shadow Empire ended badly. Two sides were quietly lost due to the intervention of the Water Children and the Ice Druids and the Ice Faithful and the other elite former members and former operatives of the Shadow Empire warlords of the Shadow Empire and all of the Lolo Magic's followers were quietly able to intervene. But in doing so, two sides suffered heavy casual losses and were unable to recover from both sides exactly. The battle and the war left a huge scourge of huge left a huge black spot of death and fire and battleships and battle cruisers down on the ground. Many of them were quietly on the ground. Some of them were quietly hovering across space. Some of them were quietly still on the air. Some were quietly decimated, and others were quietly still lost. In doing so, the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and also the Dark Faithful decided to convene with Jake Bringer and also to inform him on the last update on the mission and on the operation, which they quietly did exactly by doing so. They told him that it's time to begin their next sinister ritual by using the power of the dark entities to destroy the world heroes once and for all. They tried to destroy the world heroes, but Magiker was able to exactly remove the battle cruiser out of the way by using the intergalactic coalition's science and magic to combine it as one to derail the ritual and to stop them, forcing them to retreat. The Shadow Empire warlords were able to convene with the Order of the Five and with the Order of the Six, two separate factions able to convene with two separate sinister societies of supervillains. One on the other side was able to give them a full report and was able to brief them on the matter, praise them for their congratulations. The Order of the Five praised the Shadow Empire warlords and the success that they still have subtitle control through the other worlds, through them, and through the other civilizations. The Order of the Six was quietly happy to move on forward with phase two of the plan in order to try to tell the Shadow Empire warlords that the plan is still active and it's still quietly continuing despite the loss of the casualty of their forces and their resources. The Shadow Empire warlords were quietly happy and were quietly pleased and were quietly motivated. They used the control chips to control the members of the other worlds and the other planets, enslaving them to do what they bidding and also their schemes by any means necessary, which the intervention of the other heroes managed to foil that plan. But Lord Six was very happy and was very satisfied with the results he got, which he told the other Shadow Empire warlords that the Order of the Six still needs to conquer planet Earth, and by using half of the Shadow Empire's faction and fleets and the other known fleets he has in his disposal, thanks to his due to his empire known as the Six Nation Hunters, were able to exactly help him and assist when he can. He said that the scheme is still active and the plan is still there in order to continue with this next phase of the plan. The Shadow Empire warlords were pleased and very quietly satisfied. Lord Justin, who was governing himself within his central command, was very quietly satisfied with the feedback and with the reports he was able to gain, he decided to invade the central command of the sacred world and to attack it by any means necessary and to lay waste and siege across the other worlds, which he planned to do so. But in doing so, the intergalactic coalition fought back harder, managed to prevent the conquest of the central command to be conquered on the black side, thanks to Lord Justin's Ninth Fleet and to Warlord Justin. But they were able to stop him and prevent him from conquering the remaining worlds in the other civilizations, which turned out to an all-out war and an all-out battle, which it quite exactly did. In doing so, the enemy was neutralized. Some of them were remained into custody. Some of them were taken into custody by the Intergalactic Coalition and by the Sacred Team and the Universal Heroes and the World Heroes by the collaboration of working together. The other Shadow Empire warlords escaped. Some of them were able to teleport out. Others were able to exactly remove themselves and jump to hyperdrive into hyperspace as soon as possible before the fleets were able to be captured and to be caught into custody by the Intergalactic Coalition and by the Universal Heroes in doing so by any chances. Despite this, the Shadow Empire warlords are trained in combat and in military art. They are the most formidable species in the entire sacred universe and in the entire sacred world. They are the most deadly and the most conniving, intelligent beings. The Dark Druids provide them with endless cybernetics technologies and cybernetics capes in order to use the technology, while Shadow Jack provides them with dark technology thanks to his Dark Druids and his followers by giving them the Shadow Empire warlords black boxes and red boxes in order to travel at the far distance and using worldly technologies to wreak havoc. The Shadow Empire warlords are well trained in combat and are very skilled in combat, able to maneuver thousands of alien species across the universe except the Universal Heroes, the War Heroes, the United Heroes, the World Heroes, the United Heroes, the Magic Heroes, the Fire Heroes, Earth Heroes, who are also trained in the martial arts of combat and also quietly heavily trained in the arts of combat. Despite this, the Shadow Empire warlords are very sadistic. They will do whatever they can to fight for their faction, defend the half of the side of their faction, seizing control of the throne by any means necessary, waging war with the other commandos to seize control of the known universe and all the other worlds, and by attacking and also fulfilling the Lord of Magic's legacy and his mission and his conquests and his plans, and to turning into a war zone and extracting as much shadow energy and light energy from other worlds and other planets, thanks to the intervention of the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Water Children and the Ice Druids and the Ice Faithful and the Water Children and the other dark magic users who are at the disposal. Despite this, they are very intelligent. As I previously said before, there are several factions. The Seventh Fleet, which is led by Commander Zendak, the Ninth Fleet, which is led by Warlord Just and Lord Justin, who is exactly as a distant relative and a cousin to him. And then there's the other. Then there are other several factions led by different several commanders and Shadow Empire warlords who are the most cunning and the most conniving and intelligent beings, an intelligent race, and the most conniving race and ruthless and cruel species ever existed throughout the sacred world and throughout the sacred universe across sacred existence. No other alien race or any other alien species except the Origins were able to fight against the Shadow Empire warlords in the early centuries, and in the early centuries would be in order to stop their conquest and in order to move their conquest from conquering worlds and vast civilizations and planets and any other civilizations by doing so, due to the intervention of the extinct race of the Origin. But with the death of the Lord of Magic, the Empire is still in chaos, and all the other factions are still fighting amongst each other. Some have pledged their allegiances to other secret societies of supervillains. Others have formed an alliance with other secret societies of supervillains and organization of supervillains in order to help them with their conquest and to seize control of the known universe and all the other worlds and all the other planets. In exchange, in doing so, they provide each other their services, forming a mortal partnership that could have a lasting impact on the war and also on the war itself. Despite this, the Universal Heroes are determined to stop the villains and the bad guys by any means necessary, stopping their plans and foiling their schemes and an attempt to conquer all the worlds and all the civilizations by any means necessary. They will not exactly stop. They will fight with their last breath. The war has reached a massive boiling point since the death of the Lolo Magic has created a power vacuum unlike any other ever seen. The known universe is at war. The sacred world is no longer safe. Monsters and creatures are seizing control of worlds and planets, fighting to expand their regions and their armies and armadas. Witches and dark druids are creating their own faction. It's worse than ever. It's like a freaking climax war zone. But our heroes are determined enough to restore peace and prosperity and balance, no matter the cost. Well, that's it, everyone. You all hope you'll have a beautiful day and a very great day ahead. Today is cloudy, and it's very very cloudy. So that was just universe barking and barking and barking as usual. Um, Stay safe and subscribe, and also have a lovely day. Bye. Bye.